we have Latrice Wing, Jasmine Earl, Belinda Hogans, and Issa Forrest. At this time, we're going to do a short skit on sexual harassment.
Hey. Hey girls, how are you?
Good morning, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
That's good.
So I heard you made partner.
Yes, I did. Me and Ms. Williams discussed our new partnership over dinner tonight.
Okay, let's talk about the dinner date.
And please do all the details.
Well, at first, they okay. Then Mr. Williams started getting kind of personal. He was asking about my previous relationships, my boyfriends.
Oh my gosh, girl, why would he ask you all this?
I don't know why he would ask you all that, because your personal business is your personal business.
Yeah, I know.
Well, don't leave us hanging. What else happened?
Well, he started saying that I was gorgeous and beautiful and how intelligent I was.
Okay, that's not right. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, Jackson, Mr. Williams can't do this type of behavior. That's sexual harassment.
Girl, we gotta do this right now because we cannot have no one else. I mean, no one.
You know what? Oh my goodness, you guys are so right. This shouldn't be happening. You know, I just keep avoiding him. But I don't know what to do or even how to start. What should I do?
Okay, let's see what we can do.
Okay.
Gender inequality in the workplace. Y'all forgive me. We're going to talk about sexual harassment and occupational income inequality. What is gender inequality in the workplace? Yeah, now I gotta read, I got my cards out of order. It refers to unfair treatment toward members of a specific gender at the place they are employed. American citizens are protected from discrimination by law. According to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, it prohibits inequality in the workplace.
Okay. What is sexual harassment? Sexual harassment is unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, other verbal or physical contact or sexual nature that results in some kind of punishment when the victim resists. A harasser could be anyone. It could be a supervisor, a co-worker, an agent of the employer. And the term sexual harassment, it came about in 1975. When the term came about in 1975, this is when women began to start doing complaints on men in the workplace. The sexual harassment is a very big issue basically all over the world right now. It's a big issue also on colleges' campus. I did read a survey that happened in 2006 about women executives that they made around $200,000 a year, and 58% of those women actually dealt with sexual harassment. What are the types of sexual harassment? The first type is quid pro quo. This is sexual harassment that deals with comments and advances aimed directly at a particular individual. This could deal with implicit or explicit threats. Example would be such as a loss of a job, getting a bad grade if the girl doesn't do a certain thing she's supposed to do, or getting a special reward. And the other term is hostile work environment. This is where unwelcome sexual comments, gestures, explicit photographs, and other things that make an intimidating environment. A lot of times this may be unintentional and also can be intentional. A way it can be unintentional is when a man work environment is basically male dominated and there's like one female, they would possibly try to make a bad work environment for her so she would want to quit.
Being sexually harassed can have numerous devastating effects on a person's well-being. One of those effects is psychological. It can cause them to have depression. They can be in denial, have anxiety attacks. It can place them in like a state of shock or have increased anger, frustration, fear, and irritability. They can have an insecurity or be embarrassed and ashamed about it, and experience a sense of guilt, self-blame, and isolation. Another negative effect is physiological. It can make them have like bad headaches, migraines. It can make them lethargic or weak. They can have weight fluctuations where their weight goes up and down. It can cause them to have nightmares and sexual problems with their spouse or significant other. It can also affect their career. It can cause them to have decreased satisfaction with their job or maybe their education. It can cause increased absenteeism. They may withdraw from school or work. They may drop in academic or work performance due to stress. The theories we saw that contributed mostly to this, they had research about, was the conflict theory. Since the beginning of time, it has been like an issue of patriarchy where men have dominated. They have the main source of power, and it's like a fight for the reward and the power. So they have been using that to dominate the women, and the women are expected to yield to them. The next theory we have is symbolic interactionist. It's like sexual harassment was not seen as sexual harassment before. It has been around since the beginning of time. It did not become a social problem until the 1970s. And the symbolic theory, it goes through like 3 steps. It's like societal recognition, where it's the process in which the social problem has to be born. The second step is like when the social problem achieves recognition by the larger community. And the third step is mobilization for action, where individuals and groups become concerned about how to respond to the social problem, and it leads to development and the implementation of an official plan.
Okay. A major case that dealt with sexual harassment is Ellerin versus Burlington Industries. This basically was a big issue dealing with sexual harassment, and the reason why it was a big issue because it raised issues regarding employer liability for sexual harassment by supervisor. So basically, there's this lady named Kim Ellerin. She worked for the Burlington, Chicago office for about a year. And while she was working there, her supervisors was always making little comments to her. He would tell her to wear like a short skirt, show her top, her breasts, make comments about her buttocks. And whenever she called him to ask a question over the phone, she always had to explain what she was wearing under her clothes, what she was wearing the next day. And it also came to a point where he wasn't satisfied on how she was treating him because she wasn't giving in to what he wanted. So he wouldn't even give her a promotion. So eventually she just got fed up and she just quit. Now, after she quit is when she filed a complaint on her supervisor. Now, in the end, basically, she went to Supreme Court for this case. And in the end, the Supreme Court decided that any employee who refers the sexual harassment of a supervisor, then the employee is held responsible. The employer is also held responsible for the most hostile environment created by the supervisor, even if the victim keeps their job. So this based on a big case that dealt with sexual harassment in the workplace to kind of calm it down, and also how to deal with it when it does occur in the workplace. Now, because of ongoing cases that always happen with sexual harassment, those past years, there was a federal law passed, Title VII of 1964 Civil Rights Act. This law makes certain employees responsible for preventing and stopping sexual harassment that occur on the job. So they had two things they must do, employees. They had to take reasonable care to prevent sexual harassment, and they also had to take reasonable care to promptly correct sexual harassment that has occurred.
Even though that law was passed, sexual harassment is still a big problem today. AAUW Education Foundation did like this big study on the percentage of college students who have been sexually harassed in the United States. And they found that 66% of college students knew someone who was sexually harassed. It shows that at least 2/3 of the college students in the United States know someone personally who has been harassed. Another percentage also, 62% of female college students and 61% of the male college students, they have been harassed at their university. Over 35% of the college students who experience sexual harassment, they do not tell anyone about their experiences. So this may be a bigger issue than what we realize happening on the college campuses because it goes unreported. Lewis, Harris, and Associates, they did like this random telephone survey over the phone. They just called like out of 800 people, they called 800 people in the United States and asked them questions about sexual harassment. All of them were female workers. 31% of the workers reported they had been harassed at work. 62% of the victims, they didn't take any action, so they didn't report it. They just tried to continue about their job as usual. They didn't want any attention. And 100% of the women reported the harasser was a man.
Alright, so even though we have these laws passed, we have women protests about sexual harassment, it's still a big issue in workplaces today. So we just want to explain what needs to be done if you are sexually assaulted. First, you're basically going to say no. If you're approached by a supervisor or anyone sexually assaulting you, you need to make sure you clearly say no. You need to write down what happened. When an incident happens, make sure you write down the day, the time, the place. Also, if any co-workers witnessed it, also see if they'll possibly write that information down also for a record. Report the harassment. It's very important that you must report it to get filed. You have to go to human resources or whatever department is in your job area that deals with this. When you go to human resources, basically you're going to file a report about what happened, and you're going to ask for a copy so you have your own information on you also. Review your personnel file. It's your right to see what they have on file on you. So anything that you have signed over the years, or you have possibly agreed to as far as on paper is going to be in your file, and you have the right to see that, and it's very important that you do when you deal with sexual harassment case. Use of grievance procedure at work. Basically, you need to know what is the procedure to deal with sexual harassment at your job. Involve your union. If you have a union in your workplace, you need to contact them to file a report, and also to learn your job's grievance procedure also, so you understand what you can and cannot do and say when it comes to your job. 7, file a complaint with a government agency. Now, this is coming down to when you want to do a lawsuit. So basically, if you are getting nowhere with your sexual harassment case, you're going to contact a government agency. The people you're going to contact to file a complaint with is going to be the Federal Equal Opportunity Commission. So you basically go here and file a report. And the last step is file a lawsuit. And you go through the Federal Equal Opportunity Commission first to file a lawsuit. Hopefully it won't come to this case, but if it does, you can still, go with it. And after a lawsuit, with the lawsuit, you can either sue the company for like money damages or try to get your job back if you were fired.
Now let's talk about gender inequality in the workplace. We talked about sexual harassment. Now we are going to talk about occupational income inequality. First of all, we're going to talk about the gender wage gap. Women are paid 77 cents on the dollar compared to men, even with the same education, experience, and skill level. Wages ought to reflect the worth of a job, not the gender or race of the worker.
Good morning. This is a statement that was included in the 9th edition of the Social Problems textbook. It's kind of disturbing to know how much work we have to do. I mean, when you read the quote, it's, we got to work on like solving gender income inequality towards women. And I feel like everyone in class should agree that equal work deserves equal pay. So. The Department of Labor annual study highlights women earnings in 2009. In 2009, women were full-time wage and salary workers, had a median of like 80% of what the males would make. In 1979, women earned about 62% as much as men, and after a gradual rise in the 80s and the 90s, women and men ratio peaked to like 81%. The chart shows marriage and having children affects male and female earnings differently. Overall, marriage and motherhood can explain a large portion of gender pay gap, and I thought this would be an interesting clip to show, well, not clip, but slide to show you guys like the very strong work we have to do as far as like income inequality.
Okay, let's talk about the glass ceiling. It is the invisible institutional barrier constructed by male management that prevents women from reaching top positions in major corporations and other large-scale organizations. One example I'm going to give you, it would be like the President of the United States. Another example could be like a president of a bank or whatever. That's why they call it division. Because the male executives believe that workers will not work up under women supervisors. And women are looked upon as being in a supportive role. I guess because they just got the nurturing about them, and I guess they just support.
a quick video I want to show you guys. It's like 5 minutes long. It briefly addressed various issues for gender demonstration, discrimination in the U.S. and around the world.
Wow.
have shown you the skits as well as presentations on sexual harassment and gender inequality in the workplace. We have provided some action. If anyone is interested, we have the NOW group, which is the National Organization for Women. You can go online by just www.now.org or sash.org or stopharass.com. Thank you all very much.